king and his knight in shining armor. Dragon slayers mount their horses on a quest for victory. Onlookers from near and far gather to witness the joust between the Knights of the Round Table. The battle begins here.
The field is set for Thursday's twin qualifying races, and we welcome you live to the Daytona International Speedway. Hello, everyone. I'm John Kernan. Coming up on RPM tonight, the King and Bobby Hamilton are here. We'll also be joined by Kenny Schrader and Ricky Craven, and Dr. Jerry Punch makes his weekly studio house call. But first, it was decision day for many of the NASCAR Winston Cup teams. It didn't post at fast qualifying time on Saturday because rain washed out second-round qualifying Monday. It was moved to Tuesday, and it was the final time for a car to post a speed for the Daytona 500 field. Kenny Schrader was 29th fastest on Saturday. He picked up 4 spots on Tuesday, is now 25th overall. Monday night, Sterling Marlin told us they fixed their problem, but he slipped on Tuesday from 28th to 35th quick. The biggest improvement, Lake Speed from 35th overall Saturday to 10th fastest at a little over 188 miles an hour. We check out the top 7 qualifiers today, and on the right of your screen, you can see where their new speeds are in relation to the overall ranking. That could become very important if they have problems in the qualifying races on Thursday. Speed, 10th fastest overall after playing catch-up the last several days.
We've really been hustling to catch up with the other guys that had those extra 3 days of testing, and it's taken us about two days of testing down here now to get back caught up with them, and so we feel pretty good now. I'm very optimistic that we've figured out the trick. There's always tricks, you know, everything. So I think we found out the tricks, and so now we can race with them.
Things aren't, wasn't going very good for us to start with, or as far as time-wise. We knew once we got in the race, car's going to be fine. You know, the race good, handles good. Showed that in the clash. Just a situation where we had to get qualified, and that's what we did today, and we're real happy with it.
We knocked some time in it. I believe that hurt it. We lost about 150 RPMs from where it was, but, we feel like we could still come and, put springs into race and can run 48, 40s to 60 ready to race. So, much faster than slower than what we qualified, and it always seems like it does our car like that. So, we ready to race. We'll be good.
In all, 14 drivers ran in the final qualifying round. Rookie David Green had put Dale Earnhardt's qualifying motor in his car. Didn't help, though. That leaves him in a precarious position because his new team does not have a provisional starting spot available to them.
Right now, our game plan is real simple. We got to go out there and get in that 125 and try to get up in that top 15 somehow. It's going to be hard, but, now we know we got one last resort.
Here's how they line up in Thursday's first Gatorade 125-mile qualifying race. Skinner and Jarrett on the front row. An interesting note, DJ's teammate Ernie Irvin starts right behind him. They're not teammates, but they are brothers, and they share the 9th row as Jeff and Ward Burton start next to each other. A total of 26 cars starting that first qualifying race. Last year, Bobby Hamilton drove the Petty Enterprises Pontiac to his first win in a long, long time. Both Bobby and Richard Petty are here. And Richard, what did that win out in the desert last year do for Petty Enterprises?
Yeah, it was a big boost for all of us, I guess. I sat there and watched the race, and what was really good from my standpoint was Bobby's first time he'd won a Winston Cup race, and I don't think there was but a couple of boys on our team that had been in victory lane on the Winston Cup. So to me, it was just a big accomplishment for everybody, and wasn't anything I thought they couldn't do. They just finally done it.
Bobby, what about you? What did it do for you?
Oh, it was the same thing. The greatest part I thought it was that the team, it helped them to go into this year and everything. And for them to work so hard all that time and not be able to do anything, and it just made me feel real good for them.
Is it intimidating at all to drive for the winningest driver in NASCAR?
It is when he's upset. No, really, everything runs real smooth, and he's hired some good people. We've done that so he wouldn't have to spend a lot of time with it in between myself, Robbie, and Dale, and all the guys at the shop. He just comes in, checks with us every now and then, and usually things are running pretty smooth.
Now, Richard, see you there in the garage area talking to Bobby, and you got a new paint job on the car for here at Daytona. Looks pretty good. That was what, somebody over in Sweden designed that?
STP ran a contest back in the winter, and I guess they got tired of me designing the paint jobs. Anyway, they decided they wanted something different, and so they ran a contest and had, you know, over 6,000 people all over the United States and all over the world send in pictures and stuff. And we looked at all of them, and this was the one we wound up with. And then afterwards got to looking, we found out the boy was from Sweden. I told him if I was doing it, I'd have got somebody from North Daytona Beach somewhere. It wouldn't have cost so much to got him in. But anyhow, that's I think he done a super job. We're really, really proud of it.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Bobby, for the first time on Tuesday, we saw you guys out there drafting. And it was pretty hairy out there, wasn't it? In fact, you were involved in an almost incident out there.
Yeah, you know, we was all out there running and said, man, these things drive like a Cadillac. And about that time, mine took off and about scared me to death. I thought I'd done run into Steve Grissom, and I don't know what happened. We did have the car pretty free because of the quarter panels being so high on the car, but I come on in after that. It didn't take long for me to haul out, but we come in and made a lot of changes and tightened it on up some more.
It's a long way off to Sunday in the race. You got to have that car together for the race. Now, Richard, as you look at this and you see that how hard it is to pass, these cars look like they're going to be bunched up on Sunday. Are you concerned about that?
You're always concerned about the more cars are closer together, the more chance you got of somebody making a mistake or car getting loose and messing up things. But, you know, that's racing, man. I've been coming down here since 1959, and we used to run 200-mile-an-hour and do the same thing. So the only thing that worries me is that the people get overconfident that by themselves the cars work good. They're going to have to be a little patient and learn what they really do when they get in a crowd.
But, Bobby, when you guys are out there and so much is on the line, it's the biggest race of the year, how can you be patient?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I know one thing, it hurts when you hit here, so that teaches you how to be patient, but all we're going to try to do is try to pull a good solid finish out to establish some points to go on to Rockingham. You know, we feel like we're going to draft good. We didn't qualify good, but the car is really driving good now, and if we have to go to the back and stay there till it all thins out, that's probably what we'll do.
Now, Richard, you've won a lot at Daytona 507, in fact. In 1976, though, most exciting finish, but you didn't win. Let's take a look at that tape right now and kind of take us through this with you and David Pearson.
Yeah, it looks like it done took me through a year right up against the wall. We wound up about 20 or 30 yards short of the start-finish line. Pearson got lucky, got hit down there and got knocked back on the racetrack, comes across, and, you know, it was just one of them things. I couldn't get the car started. It flooded out when it was doing all the spinning, and I sat there and watched him win the race.
And you finished second. They took a lap away, and what?
Benny Parsons took a lap right behind. Benny run third. Benny said he could come by and seen both of them sitting there, and he said, "Man, if I can get back quick enough." But said when he got back, that you know, he knew it wasn't going to make any difference from me because the situation was that I'd run 199 laps early, but still yet he didn't know where Pearson was. But he thought he had a chance to win.
All right, well, guys, thanks a lot for stopping by. Best of luck this weekend.
Appreciate it, buddy.
And really enjoyed having you on.
Thanks.
Coming up on RPM tonight, qualifying for the Busch Series cars. We'll let you know who won the pole. And Kenny Schrader hopes a change of colors helps change his luck this season. Steve Grissom and Rusty Wallace lead the field from the front row of Thursday's second Gatorade 125-mile qualifying race. Dale Earnhardt rolls off from the 5th spot with Robbie Gordon right beside him. A little further back, it's Hendrick Motorsports crew with Gordon, Labonte, and Craven starting 11th, 12th, and 13th. Checking out the rest of the starting lineup, Kyle Petty and Dave Marcus are back there in the 11th row, while David Green rolls off last. A new ride for Ken Schrader this year as he takes over the number 33 Chevy, now owned by Andy Petrie. And Kenny, you requalified in second round. Were you happy with the run?
Well, you know, you're never happy unless it's as quick as you think it can possibly go, but we went from 29th fastest speed to 25th, and traditionally at this racetrack, that's quite a big difference. Usually 26th, 27th has been a cutoff spot, so we were happy to improve our speed.
Now, on Monday, the rain out, did it hurt you guys because you were unable to get out there and run in the draft with the other people?
Well, no, because what we did today with the re-practicing for qualifying and making the qualifying run, we would have done yesterday. It does hurt us a little bit. We're going to be one day lighter on practicing and drafting, but I think we'll be okay because we did get to do some practicing in January with the draft.
Now, in the past, for a number of years, you've been with a multi-car team. Now it's kind of a single team, and you don't have anybody to share information with, right? So how do you make up for that?
Well, it's not kind of a single car team. It for sure is, but You know, Andy's got a lot of talent, a lot of ability, a lot of knowledge. He's been there for a number of years, and we're good notes that we worked off in the past that I've ran with the 25 car and that he's used with 33 car, and I think we'll be fine.
And it's been a while since you won a Winston Cup race. It's no fault of your own. I mean, it always seems that if somebody's going to have bad luck, it's like you had the worst luck. Rick Mast has the second amount of bad luck. You changed rides this year. You think that's going to, are you superstitious at all? Do you think it's going to help you?
No, I'm not really superstitious. You know, most time that luck, you know, isn't really luck. It's preparation or whatever that you bring on yourself. I'm excited about working with Andy. We had a good effort, and Mr. Rick gave us everything we needed at 25 car. For whatever reasons, we didn't get it done enough. You know, we weren't consistently winning as many races as we need to, and it was time to make a change, and the opportunity to work with Andy is something that I jumped on, but as far as just luck and changing here and there, that won't get it.
You know, you didn't go out and buy up all the rabbit's feet in town.
No, no, and we still, you know, we're back in those green uniforms, so I don't know about that.
Hey, you did not get to go out in the draft, but I want to show some video and maybe have you analyze it for us. We'll take a look at some of the action today. Everybody's talking about not being able to pass, but I watched Earnhardt go from the back of a draft line to the front of it.
Well, we saw in the 120 or in the Busch Clash not a lot of passing, and I think that's something we traditionally see in the Busch Clash. If it doesn't happen in the first lap or so, it doesn't usually happen. In the 125s and the 500s, with a lot more cars, there'll be a lot more free air out there, and the cars will be able to suck up and catch one another easy. I saw a little TV interview with Mark Martin tonight. Qualified his Busch car, and I think he's 15th or something, and he said, boy, he wasn't very happy with it, never qualifies good, but when it comes Saturday and he gets to go windsurfing, it'll be real good, and that's all definitely what it is out there.
Well, have fun windsurfing out there and racing the car, and we'll see you this weekend. We'll see you all throughout the week, as a matter of fact. So, Kenny, thanks a lot for stopping by. Well, Ricky Craven, of course, taking over the ride that Schrader used to drive, and we'll find out how much he likes it when we come back. The NASCAR Busch Series qualifying for the Gargoyles 300. Dale Jarrett knocks Dale Fishline off of the pole, but the very next driver, Dick Trickle, takes his shot at the top, 188.084 miles an hour. That lasted less than 2 minutes as Joe Nemechek takes over the top spot with a great run. But would it stand up? Nope. In the end, Elliott Sadler cracked the 190-mile-an-hour barrier to win his first career Busch Series pole.
He ran off my first lap, and then he ran my second. I was like, man, are you sure? Are you mistaken? I didn't think we were going to run that fast. This is very much a surprise. We made a few changes before qualifying, and they seemed to be the right way, and just everything worked together. The wind died down and things like that. So it's just a good starting position for Saturday. It hadn't set in yet. I'm sure tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, once we get to drafting each other and come Saturday morning, I won't be able to sleep a wink. I'm sure I'm going to lose a lot of sleep this week as far as being nervous, but so far I'm okay.
Sadler's teammate Jeff Green qualified 6th with a lap of 188.292 miles an hour, while Sadler has the car that won here in at Talladega last year. Green has a brand new car for that team. Tracy Leslie has moved to the Hubert Hensley team. He's 7th quick. After qualifying, Dick Trickle had some interesting observation on his 10th place qualifying run.
It's all in the car, you know. You can't give the driver too much. You know, when we get to drafting in a race, you can give some drivers some credit, but qualifying, I believe a taxi cab driver could qualify a car here, but when they get in that draft, it's a different story.
Yeah, I feel we've got a good car. We're going to go with what I feel is a conservative setup. Need to finish this race. I've been fast here and just not finished, so that's my goal this year.
I just drive. I just mash it to the floor and turn it left and try to be smooth. These guys on the race team, they picked up a bunch since we tested down here.
The motor guys, it's got a Rinaldi Roush motor in the thing. The guys worked hard on that and tuned it up, and we put some shocks and springs in it. And we didn't know what it was going to do. It was just like, okay, we're not running good enough. Let's go for the gamble. And these cars are tough to drive right now, qualifying, the way the shocks are on them and all that. And but you hang on for 2 laps and hope you don't have to run any more after that.
Defending NASCAR Busch Series champ Randy LaJoie grabbed the 14th spot. His teammate Tim Fedewa was 16th quickest. Mike Wallace and Michael Waldrop round out the top 18. Rookie Steve Parker in the 20th starting position with a lap of 187.320, while Mark Martin was the final driver to wrap up a spot with the 25th fastest time. Well, Ricky Craven takes over the number 25 Budweiser Chevy this year. And Ricky, you were out there running in the draft earlier. How was it? Looked a little scary to me.
No, it was great. No, it was nice to get back in the draft, and car ran great, and certainly feel better about what happened today than what we had on Sunday.
Well, you see right there leading the pack. How does it feel when you get out of line and try and pass a car?
Well, what you saw on Sunday is really indicative of what you're going to see on Thursday because of the 50-lap run, and I think 20, 25 laps on the good years, and you're going to see a separation in some cars, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Thursday because I know how much it's going to help us for Sunday.
Yeah, I know you're also looking forward to this year because you're part of that 3-car team with Hendrick Motorsports. Is that an adjustment whenever you're used to being kind of by yourself where you got 2 other teammates and you guys are sharing information? Yeah,
it is an adjustment, but it's a big bonus for me. I mean, I'm teamed up with Terry and Jeff, and I'm the beneficiary because I get to go over and obviously learn a lot from those two, and being part of Hendrick Motorsports, racing for Budweiser, it's everything about it's really exciting.
Now, how much have Terry and Jeff helped you, and vice versa? How much input have you had with them?
Oh, they've learned a lot from me. Yeah, it's been a big.
Well, they've only won the last 2 Winston Cups, so I'm trying to give you a little credit there.
Yeah, it's just Jeff and I have a great relationship, and I've gotten a lot of help from him in the past. It goes way back to the Busch Grand National days when he stood on top of the trailer on Saturdays and spotted for me. But this is different. There is a lot of information shared during the week. When we get to the racetrack, we're somewhat independent, and we all have our jobs to do. But it's nice, believe me, to be in the twin 125s, starting behind Jeff and beside Terry.
You guys are right there together, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Do you have plans to hook up and try and freight train your way to the front?
Well, I do, but I haven't talked to them yet.
You haven't even said anything. Everybody says we're going to see packs of cars racing side by side, and a lot of people have said that possibly a very, could have a big-time accident. We look at this, and you were involved in this at Talladega. Are you concerned at all that something like this could happen again on Sunday?
If you get a premonition, I am.
If I get it, no, I don't have a premonition.
That's a tough situation that I'm not real excited to do again, but I think this is, as much as Talladega and Daytona are similar, they're very different in that Talladega, it's like a swarm of bees where we all stay together the entire race, but Daytona, normally you're going to have a separation of a group of 10 or 12 in the lead pack, and then a middle group, and then a 10 or 12 in the back. And it makes for great racing. I enjoy it here a lot.
All right, well, thanks a lot for stopping by. Best of luck this weekend, and best of luck the rest of the year, Ricky. A lot of engine swapping Tuesday in the NASCAR Winston Cup garage. The doc will update us in just a moment. Dr. Jerry Punch has been patrolling the garage area the past few days. He joins us now. Jerry, a lot of engine swapping going on. Guys just trying to get into the field.
John, it shows you what happens in this sport, what a family sport it is. Take a look at it. Rusty Wallace gave a motor to Jeremy Mayfield to be able to get in second round qualifying. Bobby Hillman, who qualified 5th overall, got his whole package leased to Brett Bodine. I'm talking about motor, headers, intake, the whole shooting match, and Brett Bodine's planning on running that in the qualifying race and the 500. But take a look at Richard Childress. Dale Earnhardt's motor that qualified 10th quickest went to David Green today to try to get this car up to speed. And, of course, Mike Skinner's pole-winning motor, that motor going for Dave Marcus, for him to try to be able to qualify for his 30th consecutive Daytona 500.
Now, let me ask you a question, because I have an idea, but no one will tell me. They probably will tell you. If I wanted to, go out and lease one of these guys' motors just to make the field, how much cash am I going to have to lay out?
John, if you know them really, really well, and you're really tight with these guys, they'll give it to you for $50,000. Now, that's where the bidding begins.
Oh.
But you consider now, we're talking about $4.3 million in the Daytona 500, and how important that is for the season-long points run and for your sponsors. But I'm told that as the twin 125-mile qualifiers approach, that number could go $75,000, even $100,000 for one guy who's got a couple of motors he knows will get you in the field, just whether you want to fork it over or not.
Wow, that big of a deal to make in. Well, it's not really such a complicated deal to determine the Daytona 500 starting lineup, but Jerry, let's take a look at it. 1 and 2 locked in last Saturday.
Right, 3 through 30 in the twin 125s. That means 14 cars that haven't qualified, exclusive of the first 2, will get in from each qualifying race. 31 through 38 by virtue of overall qualifying speeds. That's why second round qualifying was so important today. Provisionals, if you're in the top 40 from the 1996 car owners points, you can get 39 through 42nd, and of course 43rd, a past champions provisional.
Now, who do you see as in trouble right now?
John, I tell you, there's a lot of people who could be in trouble. I mean, you look at the fact that there are already 3 spots and pretty much guaranteed in the field that are new cars. Mike Skinner's in the field, Derek Cope's got a brand new operation, and Robbie Gordon. Those 3 cars, I mean, they're already locked in by virtue of speed and qualifying. I mean, whatever happens in the qualifying races, they're going to be in the field. But look at guys who don't have any points from last year. David Green, Kyle Petty, they're sort of at the bottom of the list. Dave Marcus, although he got that motor we showed you from Mike Skinner, you know, he may not have a shot because his speed's only 186.3, and he was 37th in the points last year. People like Billy Standers, who's worked so hard to get the car rebuilt, Dale McCowart, and of course Joe Nemechek was 33rd last year in the points, and right now his speed's a tad over 185.5 miles an hour. He could be in trouble.
Needs a good finish on Thursday in the qualifying races. Now, Rick Hendrick missing the Daytona 500 for the first time in some 13 years. You just talked to him, what, about an hour ago? How's he doing?
Well, his spirits are high. You know, Rick's the kind of guy that everyone loves. And he's been a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine, and for a long time. And he's never once looked at himself and said, "Why me, Lord? Why did this happen to me?" Rick has chronic myelogenous leukemia, and he's undergoing some medication adjustments right now. Has been sick, but he's the last person that's going to complain. And Rick said he's got an outpouring of support from NASCAR fans, not only from within his own family, his own organization, but fans from all around the country. And in particular, the letters that have meant the most to him are the letters that come to him from the small children who have leukemia. And he'll open them up, and they're written in crayon, and they say, "Mr. Hendrick, I have what you have. I know how much the shots hurt. I love NASCAR racing. Jeff Gordon's my favorite. You know, keep your spirits up." And those are the kind of letters that you just simply can't do much about. Rick says, I mean, how can you not be optimistic when you hear it from kids like that?
Well, Jerry, thanks a lot for stopping by. Of course, on Thursday, a lot of the people will be here holding an announcement or a press conference to talk about Rick and the things that he is going through. Thank you, Jerry. We'll wrap everything up in just a moment, but first we check out more of the first round qualifying results for the Gargoyles 300. First round for the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series, Friday's Discount Auto Parts 200. Mike Swaim Jr. wins the pole, 163.755 miles an hour. He's followed by Will Hobgood on the outside of row number 1. Daryl Murray, David Amick, Brian Sockwell, and Mickey York round out the top 6. Finally, some good news out of Las Vegas concerning NASCAR Southwest Tour driver Chris Trickle. He underwent surgery on Tuesday, and the doctors say that surgery went very well. Chris, though, is still listed in critical condition at the University Medical Center in Las Vegas. Wednesday night, Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Bodine are here to talk NASCAR, while Jimmy Vassar and Alex Zanardi also join us to talk kart and IROC. It's Wednesday night, 7 Eastern. See you then.